folks, Dave Matthews, Lunenburg360. We're here today with Paul Gauvin, who is the chairman of the Salvation Army Advisory Committee, and Dave MacDonald, who you may know from other lives. He's also a member of the Salvation Army Advisory Committee. They're here to just kind of talk about some of the work they're doing in Lunenburg and around town and around the area in Fitchburg, and some of the services they're providing to folks in our community and those around us. Hi, Paul. How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
It is. Pleasure.
Pleasure's all mine.
Yeah, that's true, for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely. So, if you want to kind of tell us what's the role and the goal of the Salvation Army?
Well, the Salvation Army obviously is an organization that's been around for over 100 years now, and they do a lot of good in the community. People know the Salvation Army mainly by the kettles that are out around the holiday time, but with those monies, they do a lot of good in the community. We do baskets at Thanksgiving where we usually serve about 250 baskets worth of food for people to make their Thanksgiving dinners. And then at Christmas time, we usually have close to 300 people who are serviced with gifts and food, and a lot of things to make their Christmas happier and merrier. So it's an organization that does a lot of good around the holidays, and that's what they're most known for. But beyond that, they do a lot of other activities too. We have a program called the Bridging the Gap program, and it's a program that's designed to work with youthful offenders, young kids who've gotten into trouble, and instead of sending them into, the prison system or, the pre-prison systems, which are not the nicest places to be for young people, they've been able to work out this arrangement with the court systems where they take these young people and they run programs for them at our center on Water Street in Fitchburg, and they come 3 or 4 times a week, and in that time they go through all kinds of training on how to change their lives and how to make better decisions. And now the program's also been expanded, and we're doing the same thing up in Gardner with the Gardner court system. So it's a program that's actually going on all across the state of Massachusetts, but 2 of them are run locally out of our chapter of the Salvation Army.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's vitally important to get involved with kids early.
Exactly.
Get them on the right path as opposed to continue on the bad path that's going to just cause more trouble for everyone around, everyone who comes into contact. So
yeah,
that's good
the
to
whole
see.
concept of that program. And again, it's been going on for about 5 years now and very, very successful. The recidivism rate is very, very low. The kids who go through the program very rarely get back into trouble. And that's the key thing, that they have more than 85% of the kids never ever get in trouble again, and a few that do, they usually are able to get them squared away too.
Good.
So it's really a very successful program. In addition to that, we do a timeout, like a youth program in the summertime for children who have nowhere else to go for the summertime, really aren't in a position where their family can afford to send them to camp or to whatever the case may be. So we run a program at the center on Water Street in Fitchburg, and anyone from the region, whether it be Lunenburg, Fitchburg, Leominster, Ashby, Ashburnham, all around the region can send kids there, and they come in at 9 o'clock in the morning, they're served breakfast, then they have lunch, and they're there till about 2 o'clock, and it goes on for, I think it's 8 weeks during the summer. And this year they serviced somewhere around 85 children that came in at different times during the summer, but that many young people were served.
Okay. So there's actually, you got two operations on Water Street in Fitchburg. You've got the place where you do this work here,
yes,
your programs and such, and then you, of course, you have your retail store, which I'm sure many people are familiar with, hopefully making donations. And
yep, and that's actually, it's part of the Salvation Army for sure, but it's actually run out of the Worcester chapter of the Salvation Army, so it's really not manned by the local officers and people in this area. It's really handled from the headquarters down in Worcester.
Okay.
So that's a little different operation, but it's still all the Salvation Army, and yes, all of the clothing that you donate or furniture, they take used furniture, used clothing, a lot, it's, again, recycled. People can come in and, get really nice clothing, sometimes, really nice furniture too, from people who just don't need it anymore. And then the money is used to support, actually the money does go more into the Worcester chapter from that particular operation, but it's helping people in need.
Sure, that's the original recycling, because we all have things that we
Sure.
no longer need, don't fit the house, we're moving, we're downsizing, or whatever, and someone else can get use out of it as opposed to
Exactly.
tossing it, trashing it, whatever. So,
Yeah.
okay, so where do you get most of your funding? What are your efforts driven by?
The funding is a big part of it comes from the kettles, and that's a big aspect of it. But we've also been doing, through Dave actually has been the one spearheading the boot drives, where we set up toll booths Sometimes you'll see them in the center of town here in Lunenburg. We've done them in Leominster, we've done them in Fitchburg, and that's become a major source of revenue for the Salvation Army. Those few days that we're out there, and it's only like 6 or 7 days that we're out there, but it produces a substantial amount of money for the Salvation Army each year. And in the past few years, we had done an auction. There's some extenuating circumstances that have made that difficult last year, and this year could be a challenge as well. But it is something else that we've done in the past, usually in the spring. We do an auction that we've done in conjunction with FATV.
Okay.
So it's been carried on the local access television as well as the local radio station, WPKZ.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I've listened to it. I don't think I've watched it because I don't have FATV, but I've heard it on the radio. Dave's always plugging your work, so.
I think he bought some stuff too.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Probably redonated it. But that's been a good fundraiser in the past, and we'll probably do it again in the future. I'm not sure about this spring because again, there's some challenges right now that are happening with the staff at the Salvation Army.
Okay. And now, Dave, there's a boot drive planned for Lunenburg, of course. Any idea when the date is on that yet, or have you planned that, or?
We're working on our preliminary schedules now. We're looking to start it on December 13th for the town of Lunenburg. And if I could, before we go into the boot drives, I just want to congratulate you on your show and thank you for your years of service in the town of Lunenburg. And Mr. Gauvin, he's been on the board for over 30 years. I know I've been there for 30 years. And
it's been a while, yeah.
So I mean, we've been doing this for a lot of time, and it's been fun. It's been gratifying.
Sure has, yeah.
But the Salvation Army is a unique organization, so every dollar that comes into town stays in town. And that's why Paul and I are very dedicated to this. So every dollar that's given out there in the basket goes back into the Lunenburg, Fitchburg, Leominster area. And that's a great thing. It's also tax deductible too, as far as if you give a donation to the store, ask for a receipt so you can get your tax deduction as well. You also go to www.redkettle.com. That's our online baskets where you can also make a donation and again, tax deductible. But Salvation Army, to me, we've been doing this for 30 years, and when I was a child, we grew up on welfare. And I remember the Salvation Army coming to my house and giving us toys and baskets at Thanksgiving. And it's been kind of giving back. So when we do our boot drives, we're out there for one reason, and that's to give back to the community. And in Lunenburg, for example, last year we did a great boot drive. It was 9 degrees, if you remember, Paul.
Frigid. I remember. My fingers are still
cold. It was cold out there. But Lunenburg answered the call tremendously. We also had the ROTC out here, which we plan on doing again this year.
From Monty Tech, they do a great job.
But people ask where the monies go, and Paul gave some great examples of the programs that we do for the kids. And if anyone has a chance and want to help with the summer programs, please come down to the Salvation Army on 241 Water Street, and right across from WPKZ, and volunteer and see the smile on these kids. It's well worth it. But with the boot drives that we do, again, the town of Lunenburg was great, and the monies go back to the town of Lunenburg. For example, when we had the ice storm, we were out there every night with the canteen serving shut-ins in town. We had volunteers that worked the town that helped us. We went to house, serving coffee, and also giving comfort to people. It's not all about money. It's not all about doing a good thing. It's also about the need for people. They need to have that compassion. We go to fires with our canteen, and I remember one fire we went to where a family came up to me and said all they wanted was a hug and know that everything was going to be okay. That's what the Salvation Army is about. We don't get much press like the Red Cross, but just to give you an example, when New Orleans, when Katrina hit, the Red Cross is a business. They were out there with their canteens, but it was the Salvation Army the first ones there. We don't want publicity. We just want to make sure that people care and we care for them. But in Lunenburg, when we had the ice storm, we were out there. We had a missing person on Hickory Hills. We were set up there, and I think that's the first time I met you, Mr. Matthews. We were there for 2 days. We, on the storm and Halloween that's coming up 3 years ago, we went out to the fire up in here in Lunenburg, where I was sorry to say that we lost a resident in town, but we were there to support the firefighters and the police department. So there's a lot of things that we do in town that people don't know. We also set up the shelters here at the school when it has to be set up. You'll see us down there with our trailers and our food, and we help support the kitchens to feed the people. And that's not counting Fitchburg and as you know, in Leominster. So for every dollar you get, it comes back to you, and it comes back trifold. But we are looking for volunteers, though. So if someone wants to get involved, wants to come out and ring a bell, and you'll see me every Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving at 5 o'clock at Walmart in Lunenburg, ringing the bell.
That'd be 5 a.m., not p.m.
5 a.m. and we're there. And again, if you want to help us, please join us, and we'll be more than welcoming with open arms.
Is there any, for the programs, especially at Wall Street, are there any like skill sets you're looking for, or experiences people may have that could bring that could help the program, or you just need people to get involved?
Yeah, I mean, if people are willing to get involved, please show up and we'll find something for you to do. It's not specific skill sets that we need. We need people that are willing to get involved, to help out, to work at ringing the bells at the kettles, or to stand when we do a boot drive. All those things take manpower, and
Sure.
and nobody's paid. They're all out there trying to help their fellow citizens in the region, and that's what it's all about, giving back and helping each other.
Okay.
But we do have another program, Dave, which is the Christmas Angels, and again, that's another program that we're very devoted for. And if you go into some retailers down at the mall, I think BJ's carries a tree. They're angel trees, and it's a picture of a little boy, a little child. Pull an angel and get a gift, because trust me, that's the only gift the kids are going to get for Christmas. And we're almost on a crusade at the Salvation Army to make sure every child wakes up and has a gift on Christmas morning. I think that's the way it should be. So I will be personally having angels myself. So if anybody would like an angel, give me a call. I'll be glad to give you an angel. And again, you don't have to see the child. You just get the angel and say, here. And to give you a quick story, when we were doing the DPW building, I don't want to mention his name, but he's a real good guy. He came to me and said, Dave, what can I do to help? And in the Salvation Army, on a tree, someone left a letter. In this letter was a family that needed toys for their kids. The parent didn't know what to do. So I gave this letter to this person. He went out, bought all toys for the kids, had his family get involved, went to the house, and gave them the gifts. He came to me after and said that was the best Christmas they ever had, because it taught the kids there are other people that need it. And that was a great story. And there's stories like that all over the place. I urge people to jump on board and be part of that story. Have a good Christmas. Have a well-rounded Christmas. Come and help us.
Yeah. I can tell you from my own personal experience, with the Angel program, my kids they're grown now. I mean, they're adult and almost adult. And it's fun for them. We'll bring home the Angels and we'll give them to my daughter and say, okay, go fill these. And she just has a blast. Goes out shopping for the kids. I mean, it's more fun for her because she can go get in that toy aisle again because you're not there anymore.
Exactly.
It's just a great experience for her, like you said. And then as you're doing the shopping, you're thinking about, okay, what's going to make this child happy, and this is it. This is their Christmas, and it brings back, like you said, it reinforces. People need to remember. It's like Lunenburg is some areas very affluent, some areas not. But we have a lot in this community. We all have a lot. So just having the opportunity to go out and helping out people that maybe need a little help, it's a great feeling. So
we also help the elderly as well. I mean, on Christmas morning, and Paul knows that every Christmas morning for the last 30 years, we've been preparing. Like Paul said, we did actually 328 meals last Christmas, and those meals go out on the, and I always get this wrong, Meals on Wheels program. And they get delivered to the elderly on the shut-ins on Christmas morning. And it's great to see, and we're there early Christmas morning. My wife's been putting up with me now for 30 years because our Christmas doesn't start until the afternoon. Yeah. But the joy that we get and the joy that you see when an elderly person, you're the only visitor they're going to get.
Yeah.
And we're there. And that means a lot. It means a lot to them, and it means a lot to us. So again, come on down Christmas morning. If you can cook, you can come down and help. But it's fun.
You mentioned about your children buying the gifts and doing those things. As Dave mentioned, we've been involved a long time doing the Christmas morning deliveries. And as my kids got older, they started wanting to know, what are you doing? Where are you going? And so I said, well, why don't you come on and find out? And so now they look forward to coming with me. And now Dave does a lot of the cooking, but we go out and deliver the meals. And that's even more rewarding because now you're actually, seeing the people face to face and, seeing how grateful they are to have someone come see them on Christmas morning, where if we weren't there, they would see nobody. Yeah. And it's a very rewarding experience.
And it makes someone's Christmases brighter that year too. So like I say, it's a fun experience, and there's a lot of funny stories we do too. And Dave, you know me, if we can do anything good and have fun with it, and we have fun with it. And Paul and I have been in the trenches with the auctions, and we've had a good time with these auctions. And I just want to give a thanks to Dave Rogers, who's helped with the auction, all the people at WPKZ and FATV, but even the volunteers in town. Eileen Ramson will go into the office and help set up the paperwork for the applications. Bob Novacek, who helps, he helps, goes out and gets food. Paul Lawn helped with the computer part of it when we were doing the FATV. Karen Fusco, diligent worker, and I don't know how these guys sleep because they belong to 14 committees. I mean, because you're on the Rotary Club too.
Well, once you start getting involved, just everyone knows,
hard to stop.
That's what happens. I had a good friend, Leo Richards, used to own a catering business in town, and said, if you want to get something done, go to a busy person because they know how to get things done. So
But we're getting old there, buddy. Now
we need more younger people.
We need younger people. I mean, getting up Christmas morning is a pain now, but we still do it. It's fun. And I hope people react to our kettles, see us out there on the boot drives, try not to hit us.
So you're not going to wear the vest with the target on it?
We wear the vest.
We wear a vest, but Dave's the only one with the target on.
Yeah, I got the target. But it's a good experience, and we can always use bell ringers. And thank goodness for some of the local supporters that we have between Walmart, Market Basket. And Market Basket, that turmoil that was happening kind of hurt the Salvation Army, as well as the local Lions Club. Sure. Because people don't understand, our food is relied on them. And when Market Basket went empty, everything went to Hannaford's, and we didn't get any donations. So the food pantries are very, very low. And I know Lunenburg is, the Lions Club out here is excellent. They provide a lot of good services, and we would help them any chance they get. But they have the same situation, and I'm not putting a plug in for the Lions, but I am, because if you have canned foods, give it to these shelters, because we're getting into the season where people need it. So.
Yeah, our goal is hopefully we're going to have a show with Dave Berthiaume, who does the coordination, the collecting, the distribution of the local Lions Club food pantry, like you said, and we hope to get in with him in the next couple of weeks to get more information out for folks, make them more aware that this need is always there. They're stronger probably this year than last. There's more need. As you said, the donations kind of dried up a little bit, so we need to replenish those pantries, both Salvation Army and the Lions Club, and we have to look out for each other, look out for our neighbors, look out for our friends. So.
Well, I know on our club, we try not to interfere with the Lions, and I was talking with the president of the Lions, so our boot drive doesn't go along with their boot drive. Sure. But again, I got to thank the town of Lunenburg and the selectmen for letting us do what we do. The Chief Marino, he helps us. They're a big supporter of the Salvation Army. But I know what it's like to go through the center of town every week and see a boot drive. It's not nice. It does get aggravating. But also, every time I go through that intersection, I always give money. And we try not to interfere, especially during the holidays, and we don't want to be in the hustle and bustle. So this year, they're not going to be back-to-back. I think they were back-to-back last year. So we try not to do that. Yeah. So. Yeah,
it's hard to coordinate.
It really is. But, and it's not fair to people driving through town going, oh, jeez. And every cause is good. Lions Club, Salvation Army, or whoever's out there doing the boot drive. But.
Sure. It's a small inconvenience if you're driving through town, but again, the benefits just exponential. So
money goes a long, long way, so it's very important.
It really does.
Okay, so again, people want to get involved, they just come in, or can they call, or what's the best way to get connected?
Call the Salvation Army headquarters, and
we'll have the number right here.
Yeah, we'll have
right here.
Call this number on the bottom of the screen
right there
after we edit this in, right?
And also, I think people in town, if you see me, if you need anything, just ask for me too. Especially with the Angels, they'll be coming out. I want to say November 20th. I think it's because everything's delayed.
How many Angels get distributed? Do you have a count?
Last year, well, I know the number.
I think it was close to 400.
It was like 630.
630.
Angels. But it was 400 families.
That's right. That's what it was. Yeah. Obviously, there's more than one child than some families.
And there are deadlines with the Angels as well, because a lot of people feel that they give their gift Christmas Eve, that we're going to go deliver it. So there is a deadline.
Sure.
And all the gifts have to be put into a castle, which we have on John Fitch Highway this year. That'll be our Christmas castle, where you can bring gifts down there if you like.
Now, which?
It's in the space close to where Radio Shack is, in that section.
Okay, so where the Cinema World and that plaza?
Right, where Cinema World is in that section. Just if you're looking at the plaza to the right of Cinema World. That's where they are. And basically what happens is the people who sign up and register that they need help, Everything is organized and brought in there, and then the people come in and they go to the different sections of the room, the big room where everything's been gathered, and they're allowed to take what they need for their respective children and their age groups and so forth. Everything is all broken down by age groups and gender, so they can get the right items for the right child.
Okay. Okay.
And I can't stress enough that if someone in Lunenburg, Leominster, or Fitchburg, who's ever hearing our voices need help, call us. Financial assistance.
To fuel assistance, if people are having a hard time paying their fuel bills, we can
Rent.
help with that.
Sure.
If they need a place to live, if someone for whatever reason, if there's a fire, or if they're just homeless for whatever reason, we can help with that as well.
Okay. Okay.
And again, all you gotta do is call this number.
Maybe we'll put it on your forehead.
Yeah,
There's more
yeah.
room on my
Yeah.
forehead.
I should know the number, but every time someone calls, it comes to me. It's like I don't want to answer this. I don't even know the number.
I could guess, but I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
I should
No,
know.
we'll have the number in the web too, by the way.
Okay. And then the gifts you gather, like I know at the mall at Whitney Field. I always want to call it Searstown. Whitney Field. And there's the big, huge gift box that's by the customer service area. People can drop gifts in there. Those get collected and distributed as well. Is that go to the Angel program or it does?
Everything
Okay.
pretty much goes to that castle, and then the people come and work through it there. And
Okay.
it works out that way because everything's all in one central location, and it can be controlled and make sure that people are getting gifts, but not someone is taking advantage and
Sure.
getting more than they really should get.
Right.
And so we try to make sure that everyone gets.
So there's a
an opportunity.
process, there's a program.
Yes.
It's monitored. It's not a free for all. So.
Yeah.
So 630 kids this past year needed a gift. 630 kids had nothing, except luckily these guys came through and this group came through and the folks in the neighborhood, the folks in the area and the town came through for those kids. For 630 last year, it's probably going to be 630 this year. It's going to be more. So if you can help, here's a great opportunity. You can shop for kids. I mean, can't beat it. It's a good time. Get back in the toy aisle.
I enjoy it because my wife and I always pull an Angel, and I love toys. So I mean, I have no problem going in the toy aisle. It's kind of fun.
Okay.
I'm having more fun now. I've got 5 grandchildren, and I'm having a great time playing with their toys again. Just I can't get off the floor as well as I used to. That's the hard part.
Hey, I had a toy truck when I was a kid. These toys now, I don't even know how to work them. So.
Everything's all computerized.
But Radio Shack likes us because we buy batteries from them. So there's a lot of toys out there that need batteries.
God knows everything's got a battery now. Okay. So anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up here?
Well, again, we're very grateful for your time and letting us be on your show, and thank you
My
for all
pleasure.
the good work that you do promoting these type of things. So thank you.
Thank you. And folks, thank you.